So, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second part of this trip along the historic South Quay. Let me start again. Stop laughing, Terry. Hello and welcome everybody to this second instalment of a trip along Great Yarmouth's historic quays. Today we are going to be running from the south end of the quays back up north along the side of the river by the pool. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. So, Terry, what we see here is the last remaining shipyard on the far side of the river, where they actually used to build ships.
But you're playing Frogger to get across the road first. We forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I had to play Frogger to get across the road. But yeah, that's the quayside.
Hmm?
There's some, I think that's a garage workshop. And then, oh, I think this is the Seamans Mission we're just coming past. But I'm not 100%, but I thought that was further up the quay, so I could be wrong with that one.
And on your left is a brick wall.
Yeah, well, you know, we have to go past the brick wall. And there we have a nice BMW 3 Series. And an Audi A3, A4 estate. Or station wagon, I suppose you'd call it.
Yeah, wagon, yeah.
So this is the quayside, and it is a working dock, although the day we were there, there wasn't a lot going on, so I was able to access the whole quay right up to the side of the river.
What say you didn't have inside connections to have them clear the dock area, key area, just so you could roam around and film it today.
No, that was just luck. Um, they 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 tend to avoid putting ships along this section if they can, because you know you do get a lot of people wandering up and down it. So here we can see the river in the pool, and this is just after. This is kind of just at the end of slack high water, so the tide's only just starting to run, and it's a reasonably high tide, although it's nowhere near the highest I've ever seen. Oh look, my chair lifts me up a bit so we can see over the wall. It's by no means the highest tide I've ever seen there. That was back on the 5th of that was back in December 2012. The night of the 5th and the 6th of December 2012. When this whole area that we're stood on got flooded. So this is a fairly good average high tide height. But like I say, a spring tide almost covers those tyres on the other side of the river, on the side of the quay over there.
The amount of tyres that are there, they must have had
Yeah.
a lot of boats to have been able to get moored it there one time.
Yeah, I mean this was taken a little bit further up the quay on a night when we had a really high spring tide. As you can see, the tyres are pretty much covered. And you can see the ships are almost at the level of the dock. And then, let's say, the night of December 5th, sorry, it wasn't 2012, it was 2013, we had a 2 metre surge tide plus a really high tide. This is observations for Lowestoft, which is about 8 miles down the coast and out at sea. Yeah, the height of the surge in the harbour was even higher. But you can see the difference between what it was supposed to be and what we actually got was pretty significant.
Was that about 4.7?
Yeah, something like that.
High.
So here you can see the water didn't actually come over the it didn't come over the little bit of wall there that stops you falling off the edge of the quay, but it did get to the problem is that the quayside is drained by culverts that run through and drain into the river, and all the culvert outlets were covered, so the water just came up backwards through all the drains. And yeah, you can see how high the ships are.
If the wall wasn't there,
if the wall wasn't there, it would have. It was about 150 mil from the top of the wall. So that's how high it came. That was how high it came up on the other side of the wall. We were fairly lucky that the drainage culverts stopped that water from spreading across the area fully. Here you can see that's the entrance we just came through, and you can see where the water was already getting to. And then this was an hour or two later when, well, you can see those bollards, and you can see how much there was. There was about 300 mil of water across the quay. Which I think is a pretty significant piece of flooding. There's a nice wide view of it all. And further up the road, because the water came all the way across to the far side of the road. So there you can see the bollards that were underwater. So all those cars parked on the far side of the road would have been in about 150 mil of water. It kind of came up. There was one car left, and it kind of came up to the bottom edge of the body of the car. And of course you can see that this is a working dock area, because they don't make many efforts to prettify it and remove all the
weed,
the stuff growing in the cracks.
How long would you say ago they did the wall and paving and upgrades to the quay area?
The concrete wall has been there for as long as I've lived in the area, so since the mid-80s. All this brickweave and everything was done late 90s. So sort of 20-25 years ago.
As you get the work for the dole people out to clear all the weed away.
We don't have such things as that over here.
Well, we used to here.
They do sometimes get the people on community service doing it. But, it's as you can see, there's not a lot in this part. This part of the port tends to be the last bit that gets filled up. So all the offshore support boats and the boats doing the wind farms, they're all further south down near the entrance to the port, where everything's more industrialised.
In normal times, except for the last 12 months, would this area have a lot of people roaming around?
You get a reasonable number of people come here during the holiday season. Obviously, it's nowhere near as popular as the beaches are, or the amusements, or all of those things. But yeah, people who are interested in the history.
What months would have been the holiday seasons? Holiday months.
Easter until the end of October.
And now we're getting some good views of the old buildings?
Now we're getting some good views of the old buildings. Yeah, well, let's say we've got buildings here that date back to at least the Elizabeth I age.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's an odd juxtaposition here in that we've got quite a bit of historic stuff on the quayside. Yet we've also got this proper industrial setting along the river. Oh, and of course this is where they have the annual trying to think what you call it. They have a lot of boats and a lot of activities related to the sea type 2-day event along here, with stands and people selling stuff and what have you. Sort of festival of the sea, I suppose you'd call it, something like that.
Yeah.
And the little ship we saw at the far end, at the other end of the quay, as with the Eden Rose here, are survey vessels for inshore surveys. And there we have the old Port and Haven Commissioner's office, and a rather nice. I think that's a Georgian brick frontage, isn't it?
Yeah, it's around that era.
Although you will notice mud flood. You'll notice
yeah,
the mud
you can
flood
see the
windows
bottoms
at
of the
bottom.
building.
Yeah. There's not too many buildings in Yarmouth that have basements, because it's mostly sandy. It's quite hard to, it's hard to dig them out and then waterproof them, stop any water getting in.
Yeah, you'd be underwater.
Yeah, actually, the water table doesn't sit close to the surface here. The water table is much worse where I am here than it is because this is all sandy, so the water doesn't tend to sit in it so much, or sit high in it.
Yeah.